Here's a list of highly recommended Thai dramas with the contract marriage romance trope that will keep you hooked from start to finish. Some will make you laugh, some will break your heart, and some will leave you completely obsessed. Starting off with number 10 is Channel 3's My Secret Bride, and we're rating this a 7 out of 10. Dan is a young police officer who comes from a respected and powerful family. After being promoted to deputy superintendent at such a young age, many of his subordinates refuse to take him seriously. To them, he is nothing more than a product of nepotism. Determined to prove himself, Dan becomes willing to do whatever it takes, even if it means entering a contract marriage with a young woman named Suwam. Dan believes Suwam may be connected to the dangerous people involved in illegal dealings that he has been trying to track down. To get closer to the truth, the two agree to pretend to be husband and wife for 3 months. But what Dan does not know is that Suwam has a secret mission of her own. She only agreed to the fake marriage because someone is also paying her to spy on him. As secrets begin to pile up and feelings slowly get involved, their fake relationship becomes far more complicated than either of them expected. Number 9 is Channel 3's My Husband-in-Law, and we're giving this drama an 8 out of 10. Moi and Tien have known each other since childhood. While Tien only sees her as a friend, Moi has secretly been in love with him ever since their school days. Things take a dangerous turn when Tien gets involved with a woman he believes is single, only to discover that she is actually married to a mafia man. Once the affair is exposed, Tien suddenly finds himself in serious danger. To protect himself and create distance from the woman, Tien agrees to enter a secret contract marriage with Moi. The plan is simple. They will pretend to be husband and wife until everything settles down. For Moi, it feels like a dream come true to finally be by Tien's side, even if the marriage is fake. But things become more complicated when the woman becomes deeply obsessed with Tien and starts wanting to leave her husband just to be with him. And the longer the woman keeps coming between them, the longer Tien is forced to stay with Moi. At number 8 is Unwilling Bride from Channel 7, and we're giving this drama an 8 out of 10. May and Cade are both left heartbroken after the people they were supposed to marry suddenly disappear on their wedding day. Feeling lost and humiliated, the two strangers end up drinking together, pretending to be a married couple and sharing their pain through the night. But after getting completely drunk, things take an unexpected turn when they spend the night together. The next morning, May wakes up shocked and overwhelmed by what happened. Cade quickly offers marriage, but May immediately turns him down because she does not love him. Just when they think they can move on and forget everything, fate pulls them back into each other's lives once again. May's family hotel business is on the verge of bankruptcy, while Cade, who works in real estate, becomes interested in buying the hotel. And then, out of nowhere, Cade receives a blackmail message containing photos from the night he and May spent together. Knowing how badly the scandal could affect them, Cade warns May and comes up with a frantic solution. He suggests that they pretend to be secretly married so that if the photos are leaked, people would not question why they were together. For May, the situation is even more dangerous. As a well-known socialite in Bangkok, a scandal like this could destroy both her reputation and her family's struggling business. With no better choice left, May agrees to Cade's plan. The two begin living under the same roof, pretending to be husband and wife, while slowly getting pulled into feelings neither of them expected. At number 7 is another drama from Channel 7, The Defendant Bride. We're giving this one an 8.5 out of 10. Ing Jan comes from an aristocratic family, but behind their name and status lies a mountain of debt that is about to destroy their lives. Living with her manipulative aunt, Ing Jan is forced to marry a wealthy old man to pay off their massive debt. Desperate to escape her fate, She runs away on the very day of the wedding. While trying to flee, she crosses paths with Sichon, a mysterious vineyard owner. Begging for help, Ingjen asks him to take her away before she is dragged back into the unwanted marriage. Sichon agrees to help her, but instead of freedom, Ingjen finds herself trapped in another shocking proposal. Sichon offers her a contract marriage. He asks her to stay married to him for 1 year, and in return, he promises to pay off all her family's debt. Confused and suspicious, Ingjen questions why a rich man like him would want to marry someone like her when she literally has nothing to offer. Sichon calmly tells her that he simply wants to raise his social status by marrying someone from an aristocratic family. With debt collectors still chasing after her and her aunt, Ingjen has no choice but to accept the deal. But what she doesn't know is that Sichon has known her for quite some time. The two had already met years ago while they were abroad. Sichon intentionally offers the marriage with a hidden motive. Behind his calm smile is a painful past connected to Ingjen, and his real plan is far more cruel than she could ever imagine. He wants her to fall deeply in love with him, so he can break her heart in the end. At number 6 is The Crown Princess from Channel 3, and we're giving this drama an 8.5 out of 10. Princess Alice is the next in line to the throne. Orphaned at a very young age, she was raised under the care of her grandfather, the king. But despite her royal blood, not everyone in the palace wants her to become the future ruler. Even members of her own family strongly oppose her claim to the throne. Their hatred grows so deep that Alice begins to suspect they are behind the attempts to assassinate her. Still, despite all the danger and opposition, she is officially crowned as the successor to the throne. Hoping to continue her duties away from the growing tension inside the palace, Princess Alice travels to Thailand for a business trip. But even there, the threats against her life continue to follow her. After a series of attempts on her life, the king decides that the princess must temporarily stay in the country until those behind the attacks are caught. To keep her hidden and protected, they plan to have Alice stay inside a Royal Navy accommodation. And to avoid suspicion, she must give up her royal identity and live as an ordinary woman pretending to be a Navy officer's wife. And the king personally chooses Lieutenant Commander Dawin to protect her. Dawin himself is far from happy about the situation as he doesn't want to marry the princess. But as a loyal Navy officer, he accepts the mission out of duty. Against her will, Princess Alice is forced into a contract marriage with a man she barely knows. The two will have to deal with each other and live under the same roof while danger closes in around them. The cold and disciplined officer and the stubborn princess find themselves caught between duty, trust, and unexpected feelings. At number 5 is Different Lines of Horizon from Channel 3, and we're rating this a 9 out of 10. Chin and Tong were once best friends, close like brothers. But everything changes when Tong's fiancée, Siri, commits suicide inside Chin's rubber estate, leaving behind a letter accusing Chin of raping her. With no solid evidence, the police are forced to release Chin. But even after he is cleared legally, his life is already destroyed. The rumors spread fast, and from that day on, he is labeled as a rapist. On the other side, Chanaka is the only daughter of a wealthy businessman. But when her father falls seriously ill, everything collapses. Their family goes bankrupt overnight, and she is forced to return from abroad just to find a job that can pay for his medical treatment. Her best friend, who secretly has feelings for her boyfriend, recommends Chanaka to her cousin, Chin. But her intention is far from good. She wants Chanaka to end up trapped in Chin's remote rubber estate, hoping history will repeat itself and Chin will hurt her the same way people claim he hurt Siri. Hearing the dark rumors about Chin, Chanaka immediately backs out and refuses to work with him. But life pushes her into a corner. With no money and no way to save her father, she is forced to reconsider everything. At the same time, Tong tries to pull her away from Chin, but Chin makes a shocking and tempting offer that could solve all her problems. He proposes a contract marriage to stop himself from being forced into marrying another woman chosen by his mother. But beneath his cold offer is something deeper. Chin is secretly drawn to Chanaka. He cannot stand the idea of her being with another man, especially not Tong, his best friend turned rival. At number 4 is Imported Bride from Channel 7, and we're giving this drama a 9 out of 10. Don's grandfather leaves him a huge inheritance, including farmland and 300 million baht, while his cousins only receive 100 million baht each. But there is one strict condition. Don must get married and have a child within 1 year, otherwise everything will go to his cousins. His cousins are confident he will fail, thinking it is easier for him to raise cattle than to find a wife. Don, who once had his heart badly broken, swears he will never fall in love again. But his determined mother refuses to give up. She finds a potential bride for him, Lisa, a socialite. Lisa, however, is already struggling with her own problems. Her father is drowning in debt from a loan shark, and Lisa is nearly taken to force into prostitution. Don's mother saves her from that fate, but in return, she asks that Lisa marry Don. Neither Don nor Lisa wants the marriage. They don't love each other, and their first meeting turns into disaster because of a misunderstanding. Desperate to make the marriage happen, Don's mother pretends that she is terminally ill. Out of guilt and pressure, Don and Lisa finally agree to a marriage, believing it is only for 6 months, the time they think his mother has left. To please her, Don and Lisa agree to get married for 6 months, believing that is all the time Don's mother has left. The two then set up a contract marriage that benefits them both. However, Lisa has no idea about Don's condition to produce an heir. At number 3 is GMMTV's romantic comedy, The Sand Princess, and we're giving this a 9 out of 10. Kat is an orphan who manages to get through school with the help of her wealthy friend, G. G is a carefree, easygoing guy, but one day he gets a woman pregnant, and she leaves the baby right at his doorstep. Feeling lost and unprepared, G turns to Kat for help, offering her money and a condo for her to raise the child. At first, Kat refuses, not wanting that kind of responsibility. But she changes her mind when she realizes she doesn't want the baby to grow up like her, abandoned and alone. Years pass, and the baby grows into a little girl, with Kat raising her as her own daughter. Everything changes when Ki, G's older brother who lives next door, accidentally discovers the truth that the child Kat is raising actually belongs to G. Meanwhile, G is already engaged to Ki's ex-girlfriend, whose father is a major investor in their company. Her father threatens that he will pull out his investments from their company if G does something stupid or stains his daughter's name. To make things more complicated, the ex-girlfriend is still not over Ki, which only makes the situation even more emotionally complicated for everyone involved. To fix the situation, Ki suggests a contract marriage with Kat. Kat is hesitant at first, but eventually agrees when she realizes it may be the only way to protect the child and everyone involved. But what Ki doesn't know is that Kat is not the child's real mother. As they all get closer, emotions begin to blur. G starts to realize he has feelings for Kat, while Ki slowly finds himself falling for her as well. And what was meant to be a simple solution turns into a complicated web of love, loyalty, and hidden truth. At number 2 is Channel 3's Kanchai Puttipat, and we're giving this a 9.5 out of 10. Pat is a brilliant neurosurgeon from a noble family, and he has already been arranged to marry a woman from another respected family. Despite his status and responsibilities, Pat has no interest in love or marriage at all. Everything changes the moment he sees Keo at a city pageant. One look is enough for him to be completely drawn to her. But Keo's life takes a dark turn after she wins the pageant. What should have been a dream becomes a nightmare when she learns that the prize comes with a terrifying price. She is expected to be handed over to the pageant's main sponsor, a wealthy old man. As a naive country girl with no one to protect her, Keo finds herself trapped and desperate. When her path crosses with Pat, she clings to him for help, her only hope in a situation she cannot escape. Pat, however, initially misunderstands her. He believes she is just like the others, using her beauty to gain money. Keo, on the other hand, refuses to explain her situation, keeping everything to herself. But when Pat finally learns the truth, everything changes. He decides to help her and gives her the protection she desperately needs. Knowing the powerful old man behind the pageant, Pat realizes the only way to keep Keo safe is to make her untouchable. He knows the old man doesn't mess with a woman who is already married, more so to a noble man like him. And so Pat makes a bold decision. He tries to convince Keo to enter into a contract marriage with him. And at number 1 is Channel 3's Win's Hidden Love, and we're giving this drama a 9.5 out of 10. Nan and Pran are identical twins. Nan is a volunteer doctor working in the mountains, while Pran is the CEO of a medical equipment and supply company built by their father. Pat, on the other hand, is a hardworking accountant from the countryside who has always dreamed of making it big in the city. But her life falls apart when her own boyfriend, who is also her colleague, tricks her into embezzling millions from the company she works for, which also happens to be Pran's company. She loses her job and is forced into a deal where she admits to the crime and agrees to repay every cent she is accused of taking. With nowhere else to go, she returns to her hometown, desperately trying to figure out how to convince her mother to sell their land so she can pay off her debt. That's when she meets Nan, the warm-hearted, handsome, and playful doctor. The two do not get along at all. He constantly teases her, and she finds him extremely annoying. But circumstances push them into an unexpected deal that benefits both of them. Nan offers to pay off her debt, but in return, she must marry him. Nan has his own reason. He needs this arrangement so he can avoid being forced to marry a woman he doesn't love. Pat agrees, thinking it is only a paper marriage. She plans to repay him, get a divorce, and move on with her life. But as time passes, the distance between them disappears as they slowly fall for each other. And they decide to turn their relationship into something real, choosing love instead of just a contract. Just when their feelings begin to deepen, a sudden attempt on Pran's life changes everything. Pran ends up in a coma, and Nan is forced to step into his twin brother's identity in secret in order to uncover the truth behind the attack. Now, Pran becomes Nan in the public eye, while Nan is forced to live as Pran, taking over the life of the no-nonsense CEO while hiding his true identity in plain sight. Pat then receives the devastating news of her husband's accident and rushes to his side to take care of him, unaware of the truth. And from the shadows, Nan can only watch the woman he deeply loves stay faithfully by his brother's side, caring for him day and night, while he silently suffers in jealousy, unable to hold her, unable to tell her the truth, and unable to reveal himself to her. For more recommended Thai dramas to watch, hit like, share, and subscribe.